Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So with the NHL 21 HUT deep dive, I wanted to do a couple videos to break down everything because there was just so much information in it. So I did one for synergies and one that went over all of the master icons that are available in NHL 21. I thought that I would go ahead and make a video that would explain all of the biggest changes from NHL 20 into NHL 21 for Hockey Ultimate Team. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So let's get into all of the huge changes going into next year's game. So we will start with price ranges. So starting in NHL 21, we will be introducing a new feature to the Hockey Ultimate Team auction house called price ranges. When price ranges are active, every tradable HUT item, this includes players, collectibles, coaches, customization items, team items, they will have a minimum and a maximum coin price they can be sold for on the auction house. We've also added in quick shortcut buttons which allow you to quickly set the starting price or buy now price to minimum or maximum price when listing an item for auction. So essentially this means that if you have a good card, or if there's a card that they deem to be really powerful, so early on, let's take Victor Hedman, he's going to be a sought-after card early on in NHL 21, they can make it so that his minimum price that you can sell it for is like, $15K, depending on the market. They're going to be able to set that and make it so that there isn't any huge people that can go up and just buy all the cards and then sell them for a certain price. There's going to be a minimum that you can sell it for. So great addition. It's going to be a little bit getting used to. We'll go through the frequently asked questions here that they listed. So what are the benefits of price ranges? So price ranges was implemented for the benefit of the HUT community with the following goals in mind. Help players better understand the fair market value of the items they are listing and bidding on in the auction house. So this really helps out new players. Again, you can't accidentally sell a McDavid for, 100 coins because you don't really understand the auction house. It will have a minimum that you at least get that much for. Restrict unfair coin transfers on the auction house. This will stop this will help stop coin sellers, which is a good thing. And then promote a safe and fair playing field for all players by allowing item values to be based on real market demand and without interference from illicit activities. Again, helping to eliminate those coin selling websites. You still be able to trade items. Yes, you'll be able to make trades for items in the auction house. Price ranges only impacts bidding and listing of items. It doesn't do anything with trades. So that's the main thing there for that new addition. There's also no more cut contracts or injury items. Your players can still get injured in HUT, but at the end of the game, that's it. So that was announced a while ago, but I thought I'd just include that here. Huge item here. Team building sets, finally, they are back. We're bringing back team building sets for all NHL teams in NHL 21. You'll be able to redeem all players rated 83 overall and below on each NHL team for a special 85 OVR reward player, and for most teams, additional pack rewards as well. The 85 overall player you're able to earn for each team is untradeable, but the pack reward contents are generally tradable. So I believe it was NHL 17 or 18 was the last time that we had collections, which means that for the Sharks, I don't know if there's a Shark that's over 83. Oh, I guess Burns and Carlson would probably be over there, but I haven't even looked into that, so they might be at 83. All the cards are 83 and below. You collect that whole team, and you'll get, let's say, an 85 overall Joe Thornton. I don't know what the card would be, but that's just an example, and that'll have that for every team. This is a great addition because it gives all of the cards, the gold cards or whatever cards, the silver ones that are listed on teams, value. So if you pack a 78 overall, Marcus Sorensen from the Sharks, it has value because you can turn that into an 85 overall card. Just a great addition. Again, something that we've been really asking for since it was taken out of the game. Some other smaller notes, the retry option in HUT solo challenges. We've added the option in HUT 21 solo challenge to retry from the pause menu or post-game screen. It means that you don't have to go all the way back to the main menu. Awesome change. I mean, that's small quality of life, but an improvement nonetheless. Removed game modes. So with NHL 21 introducing HUT Rush, again, I have a video detailing everything about HUT Rush already. Along with HUT Rivals being introduced in NHL 20, we've removed online seasons and draft champions, so those are gone. They were kind of useless modes with the additions of HUT Rivals and HUT Rush, so there's no reason for that. This is what I want to get into, guys. The most exciting thing about the new game is how progression will work. One of the biggest problems if you played NHL 20 from start to end is that, it all just became about whoever had the biggest players. Zdeno Chara was able to get 99 speed, and, whoever else was 6'5" and above, those are the cards that you went after because there was no disadvantage. Everyone had 99 skating, and it effectively removed smaller players from being usable in the meta of the game. You could obviously use them, but you were at a very, very big disadvantage. Let's get into the changes because they are big. So, player progression. We felt NHL 20's progression was improved in terms of 19, which it was, but let's get into what it's actually going to do. So, aside from making some changes to how we've tuned base items, we're taking a new approach with upgrades. First off, we're making some changes to base item tuning so that they should start off with slightly lower speed ratings. So, you'll see at the base at launch, if you looked at my master icon list, for example, Mario Lemieux and Gretzky, instead of starting at 91, they're starting at 89, so the low overalls, which helps with progression later on. So they're starting lower with speed ratings, and we're also changing the rate at which speed and acceleration increase on upgrading items. So this is very key. As players receive a +1 upgrade, their speed and acceleration will only increase by 0.5 points. Here is an example, and again, guys, this is one of the biggest and most effective changes that Hockey Ultimate Team has seen because progression has become the biggest issue in HUT. It ruins how the game is played as the year continues. When more cooler cards come out, the gameplay gets worse. Below is an example of how a progression could look for a larger stay-at-home defenseman like Zdeno Chara compared to a faster player like Connor McDavid. So here is the speed stat for Zdeno Chara at 87 overall. It's 80. Connor McDavid's speed at 87 overall is 92. Look at how the progression changes. So as you get a +1 upgrade, again, it's +5 or +0.5. So speed, every other stat goes up +1, but acceleration and speed will only go up by 0.5, meaning that at 99, Zdeno Chara's max speed at a 99 overall card is only 86, whereas Connor McDavid can get to 98. The changes in this, I can't stress how much this is going to improve gameplay because that means that players like Johnny Gaudreau will be able to actually burn by gigantic ogres, and you can't just have 6 huge players on the back end because if they can't skate, it doesn't matter how big they are. If you can't effectively get over to them fast enough, smaller players and faster players are now at an advantage here, which is awesome. Big players will still be effective, but you will have to pair them with, a nice mix. It's going to be great. It's going to really help team building and something I'm super stoked to get into. And again, when I do all my content for the new releases for HUT cards and whatnot, I'm going to include all that, so it'll help you explain it as the year goes on about what cards you should go after and what you should look for in terms of attributes. So with the combination of the lower starting point and slower rate of increase, it'll help stabilize speed ratings for a much greater period of time. It'll help create and maintain a speed gap between players who should be fast and players who should be slow. The goal of this is to help make sure player items can maintain a feeling of being differentiated from each other and contribute to a more interesting team building experience. So obviously, that's fantastic. Now let's get into the next biggest thing in a change for Hockey Ultimate Team. Player progression for goaltenders. So it's always been about height. And then last year, aggression was tuned to be a tendency and not an attribute, meaning that if a goaltender had a low aggression stat, it wasn't a bad thing. It just meant that they acted different. They stayed back in their net a little bit. They didn't challenge shots, but it really helped with one-timers. So the meta was whoever the biggest is with the lowest aggression, those are the goalies to go after. Whereas now, what is going to happen is their stats are going to be capped depending on how tall they are. So here is the chart, all right? So this is a goaltender, and we'll take a look at 5'11". All of their stats, so speed, 5-hole, agility, shot recovery, rebound control, high glove, and stick high, so the two high points of the net, can all go to 99 overall with a 5'11 goaltender. So meaning anyone 5'11, if he gets a 99 overall card, all of these stats will be 99. Look what happens after 5'11". So for 6 foot, 96 across the board, and then glove high and stick high are 97. 6'1", 93 across the board. 6'2", 90. Let's go take a look at what Ben Bishop will be at 6'7", I believe. 78. So his stats are now being impacted to the point where you have to make a choice. Do you want someone big who's going to play at a much lower rating based on stats with a high glove or the glove high of 85? Let me explain why this is big and why goaltenders and big goaltenders will not be as overpowered as past years because of this. At launch of the game last year, I was able to get the 90 overall Patrick Waugh, the icon card of his 90 overall. He's 88 this year. When I used him, he's only 6'2". He was the best goalie I have ever used in Hut at any point. And then as the season went along, we got into November and December specifically when Winter National came out and there was all of these great shooting cards. That was when he started getting picked apart because he wasn't overly big and the shooting stats caught up to the attributes that he had. The attributes matter. I need to stress this, that the attributes for goaltenders will frame by frame impact the speed at which they move. So a goalie that's only 5'8" that has 99 glove high, meaning his glove will move at the fastest frame rate possible in the game. Whereas someone who's gigantic that only has 85, it doesn't mean that you're going to beat him glove high, or it doesn't mean that you're not going to beat him glove high, but just because he's so big, it'll hit his shoulder. That is what was happening because he's just bigger in the net. So now with the attribute caps, we're really going to see, because speed being only 78 with Ben Bishop means that, left and right, one-timers are going to just blow in, from what I see, just based on the stats. So it's just something to watch out for, but it makes goaltenders way different, and I can't wait to find out what the meta is. Looking at it closely here, just based on the numbers, I think that 6'2" might be the kind of sweet spot. He's 6'2" and 90 overall for the stats. That's pretty impressive, although 9 increase for 5'11", I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it's just an awesome addition and something that I'm grateful that they're focusing on, because I'm sick of just whoever the biggest goaltender is. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the first event in Hockey Ultimate Team, because it will introduce another change that happens inside NHL 21. So Lit versus Grit, much like NHL 20, we want to make sure we're delivering a combination of new events. So Lit versus Grit is what we've got here. And again, you'll have to make a decision. Do you want, some, grittier vets, or do you want the razzle dazzle of today's flashier players? That would be the Lit players. So we'll see here. We've got the 89 Artemi Panarin, Miro Heiskanen, and Willie Nylander. This is going to be the first master set group. And then we've also got the Patrice Bergeron, Ryan Suter, and Blake Wheeler. I have a feeling this Blake Wheeler card is going to be super sought after, because Blake Wheeler is always a great card in Hut, but we'll see. But I want to get into this, the master items. So the master items, we always want to try and bring something new to the table for them, and they're changing it this year. For most events, we will actually have 2 versions of every master item, a standard version and an elite version that will be higher rated. But the acquisition and upgrade methods for these are something we're planning on changing and shifting throughout the year to help contribute to make each event more unique. So I've kind of been explained in the background. I don't want to give away too much because, again, it's subject to change, but this 90 overall Panarin, see how it looks different than this one, the white one. It is going to be super rare and really hard to acquire, but it is a nice flex. It is something to chase. So again, it's just another good addition, and I think something that'll make every event more interesting, because even if you are able to obtain a bunch of them, you always want to go after and get the best ones. So just another good change in Hockey Ultimate Team for NHL 20. Team of the Week and Squad Battles, so they're removing the Challenge Team of the Week, which was kind of useless entirely. It'll be now molded into Squad Battles. So when you do Squad Battles, you'll be challenging the Team of the Week, which means Squad Battles now runs Wednesday to Wednesday, and I will have a full video explaining everything about Squad Battles and everything you need to know once the launch of NHL 21 happens. So guys, that is going to do it. Those are all the biggest changes for NHL 21 inside of Hockey Ultimate Team. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and please subscribe to the channel for the most up-to-date NHL content on YouTube. Have a good one, guys.